me show you what I've been doing with the garlic to get them ready for storage. So I have been cleaning up all of these garlic that are hanging over here that have been curing. And I've been cutting the stalk off, leaving 5 or 6 inches left. And then I've also been cleaning up the dirt off of the roots and trimming them up if needed. We ended up putting our garlic in a place in the yard that was a bit more clay than we would have liked it to be. So these were really hard to get out. We kind of had to like take a pitchfork and lift all the dirt instead of just being able to pull them out. So a lot of the clay soil got stuck to them pretty bad, and we didn't want to risk messing them up before we cured them. So I'll kind of clean up off the dirt and get them all to look like this. Oops, lost some paper. And then I'll show you how I'm going to store them. Okay, apologies for the bad lighting and the fan blowing on me, but it is so hot outside that I have to have all the blinds closed for the house to try and keep the heat out a little bit. And then I was just in the basement, which is like 10 degrees cooler than up here. So I had to get the fan to blow on me to be comfortable. Um, so I have all the garlic up here that we just cut all the stalks off of and the roots off and cleaned up. And I've kind of separated them out a little bit. So in this bowl, I have the ones that we're going to keep and replant for next year. So they're like the biggest and the best of the ones that we got. And then I put like the next biggest size in a pile, and I've already kind of started hanging them how I want. And then I did mediums, and then we have these little lollipop garlics, as I'm gonna call them. Like, what is that? And so I think I'm gonna go ahead and chop all those up and maybe mince them and freeze them, just because getting like these teeny tiny cloves out every time I want garlic sounds like a pain versus like a nice big clove like this. Okay, so I saw Jacque in the garden do something similar to this, and it kind of gave me an idea. I spent some time yesterday at Lowe's just wandering around looking for something that would be similar, but maybe a little bit more, I don't know, versatile, I guess. And so I found some, let's see, what gauge was it? I found some 18 gauge galvanized steel wire in a roll. It's like way more than I'll ever need in my lifetime. But I think it was like $4, so not too bad. And so on the end of it, I kind of made, like when you start sewing and you make a knot. So I kind of made like a little galvanized knot on the end of it. And then I started sticking it through the hard neck part of the garlic and then putting it down and just kind of weaving it around to make this little bulb. And so I was going to finish it. And then I also got, and I'll put like the two different sizes on two different strips, or as much as I think it can handle with the weight. And then I'll start a new one. And then I also got some hook and eye screws. So I'm going to screw those into, we have like a pantry under the stairs where we have some like longer term food storage. So I'm going to put them up in the rafters of that and then hang these from there. So they'll be in the cool, dry, dark of the basement pantry. And they'll be stored in a pretty neat way. And then what I saw Jacque do, I'm gonna tag him in case you've never seen him, but I feel like you have. And I saw him, he just like pulled the garlic off of this. And you can tell that they're pretty, there are a couple of them that I put one hole through and I was like, oh, that wasn't a good spot. So I had to do it over. So it is like fragile enough in the hard neck that you're going to be able to pull it out. Once I get it done, I'll demonstrate one of those, maybe one that I'll like use today. So let's keep going. So I'm just like lifting it up every once in a while to make sure that it's still not too heavy. And I only have about 2 more of this biggest size that I want to add on. So we'll probably stop there. Obviously I used like way too much wire, but I wasn't quite sure how it was going to go. So I just started with the most, and then I knew I could always cut it down. So